everyone, Michelle Gilmartin here with another Technique Tuesday and another look at the Luminaire and Solaris Upgrade 3s and some of the fun, cool features we got. This time, one from the sewing side. So we got the tapering stitch. You will have noticed that you have a new category number T. When you select category T, you have several new stitches in here. But along with those new stitches, you have the ability to actually taper those new stitches. So let's take a look at those. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a random selection here. I will select eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one? Well, I think this one looks like it would be easier to count. So once I've made that selection, then I can select the taper from my drop-down menu, and you'll see that this little symbol indicates that I want to taper that at the beginning and the end, or however. So when I select those choices, first of all, I have to make sure that the tapering is on, and then I have to decide which ones I want to start and to end with. So I'm going to select this top one first, and we'll just keep it pretty random, pretty normal this time, and I'll just select the 60 degree for the top, and then I'll go ahead and select 60 degree again for the bottom. So I've selected, and you can see how on the screen it changes to that taper. So now I can select how do I want to engage the taper, and one is just to touch the back stitch like I would for if I have my machine in stitch priority mode, or that means, or I can select the T, which means I'm going to select how many times is that pattern going to sew. So if I do it like 5 times, then it tells me approximately how long that length of stitching will be, or I can do it using my endpoint selection. So the projector comes on for the endpoint selection, and you would just, tapering will end at the location of the endpoint sticker. So if you remember that endpoint sticker, that came from your Upgrade 2 class. All right, so I'm actually going to select to just use the back stitch to begin with. All right, and I've got, so I don't have a set number that I've selected. I'm just going to say I'm going to stitch when I touch the back stitch when I feel like I have enough of them. So let's see what that looks like. All right, let's take a look at what's going on. So the taper's engaged, so that means it's going to begin with the taper. And then it's going to continue to repeat the pattern that I selected until I touch the back stitch. And then it initiates the closing taper. So when I pull it out, I have a taper to begin with and a taper at the end. Now I can combine different modes of taper. I don't have to select the same thing. So let's look at what something else might look like. All right, here we are. Let's pick a different stitch now. So how about if I just select a random All right, so now I'm going to go back to my drop-down menu and select the taper icon. And now I can change the way I start and the way I stop. So how about if I do a 60 degree angle that way to start with, and then how about if I do, how about if I do this one to finish with? So I have 2 different points there. And again, I can select the number T, so I can count how many times I want. So with the satin stitch, it's like 2 stitches across is going to be so there we go. After it sews across, after it zigzags, let's not have it go so long, 52 times, then it's going to begin the taper. So let's see what that one looks like. So this is set after 52 of the zigzags. So you have this itty bitty little taper at one side and a different type of taper at the end. All right, for this one, we're going to use our little Endpoint sewing sticker. So let's find a fun one. Let's do this one. I know it doesn't look like much, but let's see if we can make it pretty. And this time I'm going to use my Endpoint sticker. So I'm going to turn that on. And then I'm going to select my choices. I'm going to do long, skinny at the top and long, skinny at the bottom. I know it looks prettier now. You could just never tell. So I've drawn a line on my fabric. So I have a place to put my Endpoint sticker. And I'm now going to place my Endpoint sticker similar to the picture that's on the screen of the machine, which is nice. You just follow the directions, right? All right. So there's my sticker placed into position. And then I'm just going to take it over to the machine and start sewing. All right, here we go. You might be thinking, but it's not done yet. You're right, it's not. But it stopped so that I could remove the sticker. And if you can see that the actual dot where the sticker was, even though I've taken the sticker off, is still there. So let's see how it finishes up. Ooh, I can see it beginning to taper. And there we have it. It stopped right on the line that I drew, like right on the line. So over here, I just was playing around with it. So I made just a single design that looked a little bit like I thought was the inside of a flower. And I made some dots here. So I'm going to kind of come up with just something that maybe would make this look like a flower. Let's see what I can come up with here. So I think I'm going to go with T18 here. And let's get that taper on. All right. Okay, so with this one, I'm going to do a measured amount. And let's see, I think 5 times is enough. So we're going to start over here, and I'm going to start at the inside of where my marks are. All right. Well, there's 2 of them. I'm going to go ahead and pause till I get a few more of them on there. All right, so here's the last one. I was only going to do 8, but I decided that it needed a little bit more, and so I just went in and I shortened the selection that I had made so I didn't repeat as many times to create a shorter stitch. And there's my little flower. So lots of fun with the taper, the new taper on the upgrade 3 for the Solaris and the Luminaire.